0, 1. Let's get started.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Black and White United Show. I'm your host Andreas. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this evening. I'm filming this video just after the game's finished, so it'll upload whenever. This video is just a basic review of our fantastic win, Anzac Day. We got one back, which is great. Let's just get straight into it. This video today is sponsored by New Homes Victoria, so make sure you check them out on Instagram, give them a like. So I'm not going to go through all the stats and the disposals and the disposal efficiency and all this type of crap. The only stats that matter is the fact that we got the 4 points, we gained an extra 4% in our percentage, and we're sitting clear now on top of the ladder. Okay, that's exactly what we would have wanted out of this block of games, out of this part of the season. You know, it makes me think that the opening game against GWS was an anomaly, was something that was just off. The way that we're performing, and I'm going to say this pretty much from, you know, even from the Bulldogs game as well, but particularly from the Sydney game at Gather Round, the Brisbane game last week, and this game against Essendon, there are parts in the game where we are severely challenged by the opposition, where they throw everything at us, and 12 months ago, we would have capitulated, and we would have been like, oh, let's just think about the 2023 flag. That's the mentality difference now. Now it's like, nah, you challenge us? Right. Fly does this thing where he adapts to each scenario of the game. And if you watch the games properly, whether you're there or whether you're at home on TV, you can see it either way. When we are challenged by a team and the way that they play the game and they get the game back on their terms, we adapt to the way that they're playing and then counteract it in the same way. We did it against Brisbane. They got us through the middle, bang, we got them back to the middle. Then we changed it to our style, we went on the outside and we cut it in. In the second quarter and the start of the third, in this game that happened today, Essendon challenged us. They got us around the contested play. They were feeding the ball out in wet weather beautifully, and they did enough to hit the front, right? Now, I wasn't so much worried looking at it. I wasn't thinking to myself, oh God, here we go. I was thinking, no, hang on a second. We're being challenged now. There's going to be a period where we're going to be like, we're going to snap because we've done it against better teams. And that's no disrespect to Essendon, but we've done it against better teams, higher ranking teams. And we are now going to push forward and we are going to score. And we did. And we did. And, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, this player took the piss, this player took the piss, blah, 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 because Josh Dacos did fantastic. Nick Dacos did fantastic. Ned Long was unbelievable in and under the packs, the tackling pressure, all that stuff was fantastic. Still side bottom. I mean, deservingly so won the medal. You could have given it to Josh. You probably could have given it to Pendles as well, even though he only got, I think, like, what, 23 disposals or whatever it was. Like, just the impact they had in the game was unbelievable. So, all in all, I mean, I'm jumping for joy. Like, it's crazy. The lid's not off. I'm going to be a bit of a pessimist when it comes to that. The lid's not off. I mean, we've kind of opened up Mum's Tupperware and we've smelt the food there from last night. I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. I'll have it for lunch later. You know what I mean? That's where we're at the moment. And to get back on a serious note, the way we are playing, right, and the game style that we're playing, and we're blocking the corridor. I don't know if you guys see this stuff, but I see it and I'm just like, I'm amazed by it. The way that we're blocking the corridor when we're pushing out in the wings and we're cutting it back into the forward 50, and we did it against Brisbane, we did it today as well, right? The way that we're doing that is unbelievable, and we're stopping the opposition from counteracting against each other. I'll do my preview for the Geelong game later on during the week next week, but that's something that we're going to have to do against them because I think they're very much like us, manic pressure around, push on the wings, go forward, whatever. However, there is a sour note. Dan McStay looks like he's done his MCL, which looks as if it's probably potentially going to be an 8-week injury. They were reporting on the radio after the game. So if it's an 8-week injury, that's 7 games he's going to be out for because we've got a bye after the King's birthday game. This is where my point is either going to be proven or my point is going to be thrown in the bin. Either way, I don't care. I'm out here. I'll own up to it, whatever. This is my opinion and you guys are listening. This is where we play Mason Cox. Now, there was points in today's game And I understand the selection dilemma. I understand that we're stacked, we've got heaps of availability, there's players coming in. We are going to adapt on the situation of the game. We will play the best 23 according to the team that we're playing against. I don't think it's going to be best 23 every single week. I think it's going to be best 23, matchup wise, conditions wise. This is what we're going in with because this is the side that's going to beat them no matter what. I think we're going to be more of a focus on that other than just playing this is the best 23 available no matter what, we have to play it. Okay, so that puts pressure on people like TJ, Jacob Ryan, Oleg Markov, even Lockie Sullivan who played today. It puts pressure on Will Hoskin Elliott who played today as well. And that's what you want. That's what builds a premiership team. That's what happened in 23 when we had Harvey Harrison pushing in, Jack Ginnivan, John Noble, all these players trying to bust into the team. Right? Even AJ, if he didn't have a broken wrist, probably would have played instead of Frampton. You know what I mean? Now, there are some players that I thought today were actually really solid contributors to today's game. But regardless, we're going to move forward against Geelong. We're going to play the right team for that opposition. Because if you go in every single day or every single game and you play just that 23, yeah, all right, it might win most games, but the matchups are going to be different. The matchups might not work. It's pretty simple football stuff, right? And I think we're now adapting to that really clearly because we have so much stock available in our ranks, which is exactly what you want, which, as I said, builds premiership teams. I'm not saying we're going all the way, but I'm just saying that's what you want. We've got it now. We obviously need this towards the back end of the season. Tom Mitchell's going to be 3 to 4 weeks away from probably playing a VFL game too. So I would think after the mid-season bye, he'd pretty much like be pushing for a selection spot. Now on that, it's going to be very hard for him to break into the team the way that Ned Long's playing, because with Ned Long playing there, it's making Dacos or Nick Dacos look even better. It's making Still Sidebottom and Pendlebury play awesome football, which is exactly what you're after. Now, moving forward to a couple of players that I thought were really, really good today and really solid. I thought Frampton was actually solid in defence. I didn't really see any too much turnovers and stuff. If he did, I didn't notice it. But I thought he was really solid, especially in the contested play, trying to spoil the marks, etc. I thought Dan Houston started off a little bit quiet and got his groove sort of into the game as it went. I can talk about the obvious. The Dacos boys did their thing. Pendles and Sidey did their thing. Sidey was just next level, unbelievable. There is one other player I wanted to also talk about. I thought Jack Crisp and Pat Lipinski today were fantastic. Now, Lipinski, it's funny because he'll get the ball and he'll do the stuff on the wing and he'll push forward, and you see him, especially if you're watching the game on TV, like, so it's the Shane Warne stand. He plays that side really well and he gets the ball, and you'll see on the half forward flank, right near the 50, he'll get the ball there and his kick is going diagonal into the hot spot around near the goal square area. A couple of times he shanked it today. There was one where he sort of kicked on the ground, but we got the rebound, which was fantastic, right? But his play along the wing, he gets the ball, carries it and runs with it. It is so underrated. I know he can be a frustrating player to watch. I know he's had his down parts, especially in 2023. Last season he was really good. Honestly, he is such an important link in the chain of our football team on the field at the moment, and it's just so good to see. Players like Will Hoskin Elliott as well, not having blinders, but they're contributing fantastic to the play. I said in my preview, I think I said Collingwood by 35 points, and I said Ned Long to win the Anzac Day medal. Well, I was just off the margin and Ned Long was up there. He could have probably won it, but it was definitely more out of the Dacos boys and obviously Still Sidebottom. I could go on. I could get animated. I can scream. I can dance. I can jump. I can whatever. But the end of the day, we have done everything that we needed to do against Essendon. The key is when we are challenged by these football clubs, we are adapting to the game scenario, and we are winning the contest. We are getting numbers around the pack. We are blocking their run, and we are responding fantastic. There's going to be games this year, and it's still going to come where the opposition's not going to let us do that. At the moment, we've played some really, really good opposition. We've played some mid-table opposition. We haven't really played against too many lower opposition yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens then. In regards to the old boys, I'm looking forward now, but I reckon around that mid-season time, we're going to rest a couple of them just to get them like fresh and fit, ready to go. But regardless, let's just soak this in. Let's just understand that we've still got Darcy Moore to come back in the side, hopefully next week. Lockie Schultz is going to come into the side. And you think potentially Mason Cox will come back in the side to chop out Darcy Cameron in the ruck, because you need that now, because McStay is not going to be there. And then we'll have McStay come back in later in the season and we see what happens there. But we've got two out of the three really, really good, solid players for our football team, one being the captain and one being one of the most damaging small forwards in the competition, to come back into our side next week against Geelong. It's going to be great. The guys that came in today, so players like Sullivan, they did all right when they needed to. You can't say that they had a shit game or anything like that, which is really good to see. It was the same with Ed Allen last week when he came on. He only played 12 minutes, but he did everything he can. So you can't give a positive or negative review too much, but they went in there and they just did their job. When we won the flag in 23, we had players that were doing their role. When we won the flag in 2010, we had players come in and they were doing their role. This year, we have players coming in and they're doing their role, and we have a stacked side. Everything is looking good. The club knows what they're doing. We can sit here every week and worry about selection dilemmas and all this type of stuff. The club knows what they're doing, and they will pick the right players for the right opposition. I just think Mason Cox makes us a better team because it makes Darcy Cameron a better ruckman. That's my opinion. We won Anzac Day. We won. We smashed them, really. And to be honest, and the Collingwood bias hat's always going to be on. If it was a dry day, we're 6 or 7 goals up at quarter time and we're running away with it. Like, we are running away with that, something vicious. Credit to Essendon for fighting back, because they made it a really good contest. But apparently being too old isn't good. But being experienced, I think, is even better. Anyway, on a side note, I know this is a bit of a long one, but bad luck. On a side note, I hit 800 subscribers today, so thank you all for subscribing to my channel. Hopefully we can hit 1,000 pretty soon. But let's just be wrapped with the way that we played today. There's probably so much more that I could talk about, but let's just embrace the fact that we are clear on top, and no matter what happens at the end of this round, we're going to finish on top of the ladder where we belong, because we are the biggest club and the best club in the competition at the moment. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, call it as you see it, and as always, go the Pies.